Right, Glenn, we played this game last week on our live call. It was so much fun. We've decided to do it in an episode of The Fix this week. So let's play the subject line game. Open your inbox.
If you enjoy The Fix and want to get access to even more good stuff, join the Fix Accelerator today. Get access to special masterclasses from Nick and me, watch expert interviews with industry legends, join live copy feedback sessions every week, and get connected to our very own private copy network. Visit thefixaccelerator.com for more information.
Consider my inbox opened.
Unboxing.
I've unboxed my inbox. And two things, that means things will beep because there'll be alerts as my inbox opens. But also, just ahead of the game, and people will see what's going on here, I've extended my inbox, like the window that you can see my emails coming in. And I think that's to give the best chance to these subject lines. But it goes without saying, a disclaimer, it's worth remembering that most of the time my inbox is 5 centimeters wide. You cannot see the whole thing anyway. So it's always remember, every time someone sends a word with the word analyst as maybe the 5th word, my friend Ben will forward me that and show me that this is the best analyst in the UK. So be aware of that. But for the benefit of the doubt today for this game, we are going to read the full piece. Do you want to explain how it works, or should we just go into it?
We'll explain the game briefly. We'll have a quick crack at it, and then we'll get into why we're doing it, which will become obvious quite quickly because the theme of today's show is subject lines. So we know we know how important subject lines are. There have been lots of things in recent years about, Apple aren't measuring open rates and subject lines and things like that. There's been all sorts of nonsense, none of which I really care about because none of it's changed the fundamental thing, which is if you're in email marketing, so if you're writing blogs, newsletters, if you're driving traffic to promotions via the inbox, getting that subject line right, and what that means we can talk about a little bit later, is really, really important. But the purpose of the game is to get us...
It's just proven by the fact that if all of that spiel and like people's like anti stuff was true, all subject lines would just be blank, but they're not, are they? Like it is an opportunity to get attention. It's not the be all and end all, but it is an opportunity. So
let's play the game. So we're going to look at Glenn's. So the game is, I've got to guess who it's from. Is that right?
Well, you've got to guess. I was thinking about this morning when I was thinking, how do we actually formalize it? But I guess we're ultimately saying, is this a real email that I'll be interested in opening, that I would open, or is it clearly from a business, or is it in some way a promotion? So you can basically
or ignore, basically.
Yeah, open, or ignore. Yeah, let's just try it with that and see where we go. We can, we'll ramble. Right, so I'll go first. I'll go through. I stopped deleting my emails this morning because I remembered that we were doing this. So let's go. I'm going to say 6 actions to consider before the end of the tax year.
I mean, that's obviously from a business.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say you ignored it, but I'll give it a half pass because there is an element of usefulness to it. But I'm going to say you ignored it.
Well, so this is to qualify it. We'll get faster on this, but there's so much like to uncover. I would ignore that because even though I can see it's from Standard Life, who I happen to have my pension with, the way that's phrased is I know it's just a promotion, because they wouldn't email me with important information about your pension. Then I maybe open it, but 6 things, it's like I will ignore that. It's take it or leave it.
Okay, cool.
Here's another one. Video, blindfolded man gets into Cybertruck. What happens next will shock you.
Ignore. I mean, obviously from a business.
Yeah.
It's not uninteresting, as but based on traditional subject line logic, I'd say there's something to it. Blindfolded man gets it, but ignore.
Paintings.
Yeah, I mean, you're okay. That's from one of your contacts in the whatever the milieu that you occupy. You open, that's from a contact.
It is from a contact. It is from the sister of a mutual friend.
There we go.
A real person. Well, let me give you another one. November invoice.
Open.
Of course you do.
Because that's do you know what? I won't give commentary on each one. Open,
No.
obviously.
Open. Let me give you another one. Pig update.
That's a fixed subject line, isn't it?
It is a fixed.
Open, obviously. We get
Open. Property alert.
That's probably from a business, but maybe you opened it because you are moving house.
I didn't because I bought the house, but I would have opened it if I was still looking for the house, which is interesting. Get a £15 coupon for selling.
Ignore. Ignore.
From the writers at eBay. Get a creative.
The team that brought you.
The team that brought you. Are you interested in this? A sheesh dressing gown. Dedicated to maximizing the value of your business.
Ignore. There should be an additional option that's just destroy. I don't want to delete it. I want to destroy this email.
Urgent. Elon Musk's next
Ignore.
big AI stock revealed. That's probably for one of your promos, Nick.
Yeah, well, it's not because I'd never write that. But
oh no, we're embarrassed.
Ignore is almost good. Can I give some commentary?
Yeah, if it said I'm embarrassed.
Yes. No. Who on earth, as a group, sends an email? Do you all come back? Like the "we" in any email is a lie. It is a huge tell that this is not from a person; it's from a company.
Here's an interesting one, and this might go say workers. it's obviously not from the thing, but I'll come to the reason for it being interesting. Workers are bizarrely vanishing in China.
I mean,
now it's obviously a promotion, but it is still interesting. It's got something about it that's, I'll lean in maybe.
I've seen that a lot, by the way, that message. That I keep getting it. So I can only assume it's working. Okay, we'll give that one an open, which is actually, I think, the only one we've opened from that overrode the fact that this is clearly from a company, and yet I just want to look at it anyway.
Business masterclass - grow your business in 1 hour per day - Tuesday 15th of April.
Yeah. Destroy.
Right. Destroy. That's from that's from a company that gives business advice, believe it or not.
Yeah.
For one more, let me try and give you a tough one. It won't happen, but it is interesting.
That sounds like one of yours. Oh no, shit! Sorry, I said to you that. Sorry.
That is from Nick O'Connor, directed personally at me.
There you go. Got that. Yeah.
There you go.
Well, just
I'm waiting to open that.
or you lose yourself into your inbox. So why are we playing this game? Well, I think there's a couple of reasons. One, it's fun. Two, I think remembering and trying to get sort of back in touch with why you open emails is the key to writing better subject lines. By the way, it's also the key to reviewing blogs and lift notes and everything. Just remember, what did I read? What did I look at? But subject lines are there's so many of them, and you get such a quick scan, and you get to see quickly, would I open it or wouldn't I? That you can do lots of them without losing yourself. They're sort of, I always describe the subject line as like, it's like the lizard brain part of copywriting more than anything. It's the thing that you're not conscious of what you're doing when you open an email. You're not. Yeah. It's happening on some other level of your brain, and that's the level we've got to tap into. But there are two immediate lessons you get, which is, one, we open messages from people we know that clearly seem to pertain to something relevant to us. Which is to say, we don't want to open marketing messages. We want to open messages from our contacts or people we know and trust. So that's the first thing to keep in mind. And the second thing is, if we know it's from some marketing communication, it has to be about 10 times better that message we would have opened from.
Yeah, I think that's the key. If you take like the Standard Life example, where it's like, I've seen it Standard Life, so I'm going, well, I know I'm connected to that company in some way, but I can immediately, then I look at the subject line in a different way going, oh, but that's just their marketing at me. So I'm not opening it. So there's an interesting thing there where to get me to open it, it needs to be relevant to why I would want to open an email from that particular business if it's from a business. Yeah. It can't just be, all right, it's from that thing. It's weird. It's silly. That's why I guess proof is in the pudding. If you look at, we send the fix emails from our names, if it's from Glenn or if it's from Nick, because we believe it is literally me writing to our audience. But you'll see my email. So, then I do become slightly an Uber business thing. But then to get your attention, I'll do interesting, weird stuff that will try and go, oh, what's he on about today? Like, I need to have a look at that. I want to have a look at that. Don't get me wrong. You're collecting some people from trusting that person. But then if you're busy, you might go, oh, it's him. I don't need to look at it today. But if it's weird or it's strange, it might suck you in.
So that's what the best subject line does, right? It brings together the best elements from the world of marketing and the world of let's just call it personal communications, because we open all of the emails, or we open vastly higher percentage of emails from people we know, trust, do business with, and all of those emails will be written, subject lines and emails will be written in a completely different way to marketing. So we can bring some of those elements together. So, for instance, and by the way, I think this is really, really important because, like, you talk to people who are getting. I was talking to somebody this morning, a business owner, who sent me something that she wanted to run, and she just asked my opinion, and it was fine. But it's written like other marketing communications from other businesses, and that's really common to do. Oh, we have to do it like everybody else. So the first thing to remember is almost certainly everybody else, percentage-wise, is shit. Like they're probably not doing it right. The exception will be the good ones will be the exception, not the rule. So you don't need to feel compelled to write in marketing speak necessarily, because that's not the emails we open generally as a rule. We open emails that are from our friends and ape some of the things that we're used to seeing from people we communicate with. So that's the first thing to remember. This is why, follow the logic of that through, you get like bad, get spelling mistakes in subject lines. People say, oh, put a spelling mistake here, people will open it more, or don't start with a capital letter and stuff. Now, I don't like the spelling mistake idea because it just seems slightly shameless to me. Especially it's in the finance industry where it's like you can't even spell properly. But little things like not putting a capital letter, or weird phrasing, or shortening words, the way that people, those things are completely valid styles, techniques. You don't want to overuse them, but you're trying to, on a basic level, you're trying to bypass the part of the reader's brain that allows them to go, this is marketing. So you have to get round that some way. So you have to make it feel like it's from somebody they know, or you have to sort of blow them out of the water with intrigue. Those are kind of your only two options.
True. And also because don't get me wrong, people obviously open stuff like Trump and Musk's feud just reached the point of no return. It's like I mean, we can discuss spamming people's inboxes in a different discussion, but the numbers will attest that eventually people do open that mail and look at it. However, what they will be doing, and the reason it's quite a low percentage industry anyway, is that they will arrive to that lift note, to that email, in a certain mood of, right, well, I know I'm going to be, so I've got my backup kind of thing, and I'm going to find out this because I have to find out what this is, but I know it's marketing. Yeah, it's better to go in quite not knowing, then you might be surprised that it's a nice bit of editorial. It might be just a nice message, it might be a thank you, it might be a special offer, it might be, well, you don't know. So you've got more chance of, you can guide that relationship and make it more friendly through the narrative of an email arriving in someone's inbox, going through that process, rather than just from the very first moment. I know that for vast majority of those emails, we are going into a sales mode situation. And that's therefore, if I'm not in the right frame of mind for a sales mode situation, I can immediately qualify what that is and say no. So it's irrelevant what the actual words are.
The other one you get quite often is like, let's say you buy something from someone and then you get a message that says, tell us how we did, or how did we do? So I know that's not sales. I know that what you want me to do is give a review. I hate it. I like reviewing good businesses. Like, I'm happy to endorse a good business. But like when someone nags you to do it, I just think, oh, shut up, just leave me alone. But it's really transparently easy to see what's going on. And to a certain extent, I mean, all marketing is about delaying the point of classification. How far down, how far back can we push that so that we get a chance to talk to you?
For example, I guess you could say in that situation where you're getting that, where you want feedback, rather than saying, how did we do? Could you give us feedback? An alternative to still get in the right mood, but make it a little bit less quantifiable. You could use something like, I need a favor, or like, could you take a look at this, or something a bit more.
Or you could go the other direction. This would be risky. I would do it with one of my businesses for sure. You could go with, you hated it, ? And then the email could say, I know we don't have any emails because you hated it. Because actually, you might actually get positioning wise, you might get pushed back. No, I loved it. You know, I actually loved it. And weirdly, I'd be more inclined to be like, oh, don't think I hated it. But because hate is a strong word, it's not emotional, but sort of packs a bit of punch. So this is what I mean about bringing together some of the things we know about marketing. I feel like really what we learn when we look through the inbox is good subject lines are gonna marry two elements, right? They're gonna have the marketing world's sort of unique, useful, specific, intriguing element with genuine personality and the type of email that we open as it's going to bring those two things together. Too often it's just all marketing. It's all marketing technique, and there's no attempt to make it feel like an important communication from somebody that you know, which is fast to get the open.
Yeah, and like fundamentally, I think it's a great example of when we as copywriters, to bring it back to us, and it's if it's our responsibility, not necessarily the marketing team or the business owner or whatever, we too often write in a bubble of marketing speak, of copy speak, and rather than actually going out there and looking, as we do in this game, what's happening in the real world, what are the customers saying, how is that reaction? We're both big on, like, when we were Agora, working in the office with the whole team, spend time in customer services looking at the feedback that you get from customers, because all the answers to all of your questions are already there in the inbox. All the complaints, all the positive feedback, it's all already there. And how they speak, how they talk, how they approach you and communicate, that's where you really want to be when or that's a huge part of that marriage between the marketing element, like what's interesting and what's intriguing, and that's where we bring it from the kind of promotions and the actual marketing world, but the actual real world of what do people actually see, that's where all of those answers are. So you need both. If you only operate in the clever marketing, intriguing, for yous, all that kind of space, it's not going to get you what actual people are seeing. And also it's a reminder to get out of your inbox, get out of your
bubble,
get out of your bubble, get out into the world. Don't just exist in the LinkedIn social media. I follow these copywriters and do this stuff. Go out into the real world and see what people are actually saying and doing. The inbox test game is kind of one way you can do that.
Yeah, I would put the inbox test, let's call it, alongside the bar stool test, which we reference regularly, which is, so the traditional way we were taught it was, okay, how would you say if you sat down at a bar with somebody? Now, obviously we don't sort of have bars in the UK, so we usually make it about the pub, but we use that with the people that we mentor often, where it's like, you've written it like this. Would you sit down with somebody and, they say, what are you working on at the moment? Would you say it like this? Would you say it as you've said it here with all this jargon, for instance, or in such an arch way? Well, no, you wouldn't. You'd say it differently. And you're trying to you may never actually get to the point where it's like, that is somebody talking in a bar. Although I would argue the ultimate marketing will be that. But we want to get as close to that as we can, because it's saying, get out of marketing and copy speak and into normal speak. And looking at your inbox is a similar sort of way. Which emails did you open? Would you open your own email if it hit your inbox? Would you open that? Or would you think, no, I'd never open that? Well, what emails are you opening and why are you opening them? So just another point I wanted to make here is the friendly from, the sender. So in your inbox, there's who it's from and the message, and you get a little bit of pre-header as well sometimes, but arguably not a lot. I can't see any of that in my inbox. It's too narrow. But if you have a really big inbox, you'll see a bit more of it. But so those two things are really important. So actually the first thing we do is look at who sent us the email, right? If it's from you, I'm going to open it because I sort of have to, or like I want to. And to be honest, it's probably 50-50 between the two of us, isn't it? Like, we're friends and business partners, so we're going to open each other's communications. Obvious. If there's a high level of trust associated with the sender, okay, great. That's probably going to actually outweigh your subject line. So, and it's also going to imply a certain, I don't know, if it's like standard life, we kind of know it's a message from a pension company. So it creates
great example of this. And it's a new thing for me. So a lot of you get used to your own inbox. You start to notice the people that are sending you emails. And for the last week, now don't get me wrong, the fact that they've only delivered marketing has now alerted it. However, my lizard brain, my actual reaction still, I signed up last week for a promotion to see how another marketing firm were using the funnel that they were using. And instead of being sent it from, let's say, Cup of Tea Marketing Solutions, it's sent from Jim Spielberg. And I don't know Jim Spielberg from Adam. I've never come across Jim Spielberg, but got it. And that says Nick O'Connor, Percival, which is a clothing company, Toast, Eagle Financial Publications, and then Jim Spielberg. I think, right, I can see publications, they've gone, I'm not reading there. I can see Percival, that's a closed company coming to me. Who's Jim Spielberg? I'm already opening that and then going, oh, right, it's this guy. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's, that's a thing to remember. I guess this always comes back to, though, because one cheat would be to always be from a person. So even like Percival Clothing, for instance, if their top tailor, say, is called Gerard Butler, send some from Gerard Butler that sell me stuff, but also from Gerard Butler going, hey, I just wanted to get in touch to tell you about how we do seams and hems and shit, and tell you if it always is marketing, which is a massive, like, I've just seen another name one that I don't always recognize, but I always a marketing email, always selling me. And even the editorial is still kind of selling. You've got to balance it. It comes back to, you can't even win with subject. Like, it still goes back to the content. I guess that's just, you have to be aware of that. However, how you say, a name will always win out.
And you can mix. Okay, so one, a name's going to work best with a smaller type of business, because obviously I know I'm not going to get a message from, the CEO of Nike. So, beyond a certain level of
true. But if it was always from Tim Cook, you'd be like,
if I got a message from
email me,
I'd open it.
You'd open it.
Apple sent out a community. I don't know why they would, but if they did send out a communication about a new product launch, and then the letter was, "Hi, Tim here. I don't usually write." I'd read it. Everyone would. Of course they would. So the logic would still, but it's going to be easy. If you're working for a company that's 10 people, you may as well have your blog come from the CEO or the person writing it, because you then allow yourself the ability to build up some credibility in that person's name. So go for a name if you can. You can always mix things up. You can always go, if you're a shop, Glenn's example there of tailoring, like, Chief Tailor or whatever, versus the brand. Maybe the brand name is where you get your discount stuff, but a sneak peek look at our catalog this year, that's going to come from a person, because someone's worked on that and they're proud of that work, and we want to know who that, we instinctively want to connect with that person. I just think the more I know that brands are beyond a certain scale, people have a very strong connection to. I don't think anybody has as strong a connection to a brand as they will a person. And I think people like Steve Jobs or Elon Musk, or we don't really have that, Richard Branson, people who stand alongside their brand as
ambassadors.
Yeah, or I guess it's in the influencer space. Like, why is the influencer economy what makes it tick? Because people like people. They want to connect with people. And then of course you get the second order thing where it's like, oh, why, think about things like OnlyFans or Andrew Tate or all this, but they're built around personalities. You can moralize about the dynamics all you like, or the root of it is that people like people and people connect with people, and you'll actually have a much stronger brand connection if you build through a person. Anyway, that is getting outside the scope. But if you can make sure if you're friendly from is a person, then you can start to ape some of the things that we know will make people open emails. For instance, there's a reason people open emails that say "re" at the start, like regarding, and it's because they see it's part of a conversation. Now, I know spam filters pick up on that, so you do have to be clever and you can't overuse it and all these things. But getting back, to the core idea of just opening your inbox and saying, "What did I open?" Not looking at it and saying, "What shall I open?" because you're in a different mindset then. Go back and say, well, what did I open? When I wasn't even thinking about it, when I was clearing my inbox. I mean, I delete almost every email I get every morning because it's all marketing. But I will scan through just to make sure.
Yeah. It's become like a skill set to be able to scan and go, bollocks, 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 delete. Oh, that one's interesting. Now and again, one breaks through and I go, well, what is that? Oh, right. It's marketing or whatever. But it's like, oh, every time that happens, I go, why did I stop there? What was the trick? And generalizing, but 9 times out of 10, it's because it's not because it's hidden, people in China being hidden by Elon Musk's new weapon or something. It's because it probably went, are we meeting today? And I'd be like, what? And then I'd be in. It would be something that emulate my real inbox, in inverted commas.
I would say it will have one of 3 qualities, and I think we could probably wrap up on this and we'll see whether or not you can tell me whether or not you think I'm right. 1, it will ape personal communications in some way. So it'll be like "pint tonight," or "are we still meeting?" or something like that. It will have an insane level of intrigue, which is really hard to do, but it will just be like, what could that possibly be about? I'm going to call those unicorns because they're really hard to write, but some insane level of marketing skill, really hard to do, really uncommon. Most stuff tries to be that and fails. Or possibly the third category, I would say, it will have some highly emotive word in there. And I'm going to include sort of Elon and Trump names which pack a punch, an emotional punch. People feel things about those people in the same way that hate, love, sick, horror phrases that pack a vivid emotional punch, like disgusting behavior. I'd probably open an email that said disgusting behavior. I don't know why I want to see what that is, but on some level, though, that phrase. So I'd say it would have a heightened level of emotion, some intrigue, or a high level of intrigue, or it will ape personal.
And then perhaps the hardest subject line to create is both the friendly from and the same subject line, both the same, but somehow to guess your reader's mother's name and just send that. And if you can do that, I mean, it's a very targeted audience, but it would almost guarantee an open.
Oh, that's the other one. Put the name. I've always hated subject lines that have customers' name, even though I get that it works. But if you send me, I just
no, I think it does work now and again, and just as a bonus round thing, and I guess just a kind of disclaimer to it all. With any subject line stuff, when it is partly also about pattern disruption, and if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, people will learn that pattern. So you need to have in your arsenal a leveling system where you go, sometimes if you want to say, are we still meeting on Friday, I'll save that email for every now and then when I really want to get that open rate, when I really want to get someone there, I keep that powder dry or whatever. Same with from field with my name in it saying Glenn. If I'm going to say, Nick, are we meeting today? I will not do that every day. If every email from me says, Nick, how you doing? Nick, what's going on? Nick, blah, blah. It goes blind. It becomes invisible.
It's not a pattern disruption, is it?
Yeah, it's not. And so you always be aware of that. There is no absolutes. You will undo a great email subject line technique by overusing it and doing it. So it's a big old system. It's a big old world, and it's so much debate. I imagine that's probably why half the marketers of the world tried to get people to stop worrying about it, because it was upsetting them. You've got to be in the game. You've just got to be more thoughtful about it. And spend a little bit of time in your inbox and notice, without any of the baggage of with fresh eyes, how absurd some of those emails do look, and wonder, actually, did I write one of those emails recently? I probably did.
And here's a final thing to end on. Send us your favorites, good or bad. Post them underneath the video if you watch on YouTube, or you can get in touch and send it, because I always love either reading a really good one or reading a terrible one. But there'll be a lot more competition for the terrible.
Yeah, well, if you're in the accelerator group in the Discord, we have examples of good copy and bad copy as a thread. So post them in there, and we'll take a look. Otherwise, thank you very much for joining us. We will see you next time. Au revoir.
Bye.
That's all for this episode. But if you'd like to get your copy reviewed, or you've seen some copy you want Nick and Glenn's opinion on, get in touch at feedback@thefix.copywriting.com. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and share.